The kid who wasn't supposed to be here, not like this. The story was supposed to be simple. You get drafted, you find your role, you spend your rookie year learning how to survive. For most, that means grabbing a corner seat on the bench, keeping the starter's water bottle full, and soaking up whatever garbage time minutes fall your way. For Dylan Harper, that was the entire script. Reach at number 2, not a Rookie of the Year candidate, just a bench piece on a roster so packed it could have fed a small country. That was the story from October to April. Then the calendar flipped to May, and the playoffs tore the script to shreds. Right now, in the middle of a title chase, Harper leads every single bench player still breathing in this postseason in scoring. The numbers are absurd for a kid who was supposed to play meaningful minutes: 13.8 points, 5.1 rebounds, an immaculate 55% from the field, and a sharp 40% from three. He's the first rookie guard in NBA history to post multiple games with 10 points and 10 rebounds in the playoffs. The forgotten son of the top 4 picks, the guy the mock draft said San Antonio reached for, suddenly looks like the most dangerous second option on a team that is one win away from a very real conversation. This is not a hot streak. This is a metamorphosis happening in real time, and nobody saw the cocoon. But before the playoff explosion, before the doubters had a single syllable to speak, there was just a kid from Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. A kid who was never, ever allowed to play small.
Here with Stephon being 21 and Dylan Harper being 20, but combined, those two gave the Spurs 60 points. So there was no Wemby, but they had the youth on their side.
Well, Nicole, you know who's looking like a big joke? Me. Because I thought the San Antonio Spurs was going to lose this game tonight without Victor Wembanyama, and they proved me wrong. We witnessed these young boys grow into grown-ass men tonight. That's what we witnessed. Stephon, Dylan Harper, they grew up right in front of our eyes.
The blood and the weight. Franklin Lakes, the kind of town where the biggest disruption is a leaf blower on a Tuesday morning. Quiet streets, good schools, the kind of suburban vacuum where basketball scouts rarely bother to fuel up their cars. But hiding in plain sight inside that quiet town was Don Bosco Prep, a basketball machine disguised as a Catholic school. And inside Don Bosco was a kid whose last name hit every gym door about 10 seconds before his sneakers did. Because Dylan Harper wasn't just born with talent. He was born with a legacy already stapled to his birth certificate. His dad, Ron Harper, spent 15 years in the NBA and walked away with 5 championship rings, 3 with the Chicago Dynasty, 2 more during the Lakers' three-peat run. His mom played college ball and now sits on the bench as an assistant coach at his old high school. His older brother is grinding out his own two-way career in the league right now. That kind of DNA is a gift, but for a kid trying to carve out his own name, it's also a cinder block chained to his ankle. He couldn't escape it. Every coach who came to watch already had the scouting report written before he dribbled once. Every scout in the stands had a lazy comparison typed up before tip-off. Another Harper, let's see if he's got the old man's defense. Most kids born into that kind of spotlight either crumble into a pile of nerves or just ride the family name into a comfortable, mediocre college career. Dylan did neither. New Jersey's Player of the Year as a junior, a state championship as a senior, a consensus 5-star recruit, a McDonald's All-American, every box a top prospect needs to check. He checked it, signed his name, and mailed it back. Return receipt requested. Then came the decision. Duke came calling with the blue blood and the TV time. Kansas came calling with the tradition. Auburn came calling with the hype machine. Every giant in college basketball lined up on his front lawn, and he picked Rutgers, his brother's school. He chose family over the flashing lights, and the moment he committed, he became the highest-rated recruit that program had ever seen. And then that one college season went sideways. A serious illness hit him like a truck in the middle of the year, wiping out weeks of his freshman campaign. Games missed, numbers slipping. And for the first time, a few scouts started whispering, wondering if the hype had gotten ahead of the reality. The first seeds of doubt, tiny, poisonous little things, got planted right there in the Rutgers trainer's room. Still, through the illness, through the missed games, through the noise, he went second overall in the draft. But that's exactly where the real questions began. June 2025, Brooklyn, the NBA draft. The first pick was the whole story. Cooper Flagg, the Duke sensation, the golden child, the face of the entire class, a foregone conclusion. Then San Antonio was on the clock at number 2, and when the commissioner stepped to the mic and said Dylan Harper, the room didn't explode. It exhaled, a collective, confused sigh. Reach at number 2, they screamed. Scouts said the Spurs got impatient. Analysts pointed at other names in the top 4, players they swore had higher ceilings, cleaner fits, stronger projections. The narrative was instant and brutal. San Antonio just made a luxury pick, a pick they didn't need. And here's the thing, the critics had a point. The Spurs didn't have holes. They had a generational big man locking down the paint, the most terrifying defender in the league at 74. They had the back-to-back Rookie of the Year already on the roster, fresh off a sophomore jump that broke the internet. And they had an all-star point guard locked in long-term, ball in his hands, max money in his pocket. So where exactly was a ball-heavy rookie guard supposed to fit? The math didn't add up. 3 guards, 1 basketball, and a rookie trying to find his reflection in the glass. And yet, when the season actually started, the math began to bend. The Spurs opened 5-0. Harper came off the bench and played like he'd been running NBA offenses for a decade. 14 points, 4.6 rebounds, 4.6 assists, 48% from the field, 35% from 3. The poise was real, the pace was real, the handle was real. For a moment the doubters looked like clowns, the hot takes aged like milk left on a summer sidewalk. Then in the second quarter of a game against Phoenix, he went up for a contested shot, landed the wrong way and grabbed his left calf. No contact, no collision, just a silent non-contact injury that pulled him off the floor and sent him limping toward the locker room. The next day brought the news: calf strain, no timetable. He left the building on crutches with a walking boot the size of a small boat. The kid who looked NBA ready from the first minute was suddenly facing his first real test as a professional. He came back because he always does, but what followed wasn't the breakout everyone expected. It was quieter, and in a lot of ways it was harder. By the time he was healthy again, the spotlight had packed its bags and moved on. While he was rehabbing, 2 other rookies had taken over the entire conversation. The Rookie of the Year race had come down to 2 names, and his wasn't one of them. Highlight reels, magazine covers, mock award ballots, he was on the outside. Nose pressed against the glass. While they picked up the trophies, he picked up the reps. While they got the big headlines, he got the hard work. The situation was brutally straightforward. His ceiling on a stacked roster was a bench role, and a bench role was never going to compete with rookies starting 30-plus minutes on rebuilding teams. He couldn't outscore them. He couldn't out-rebound them, not with the minutes he was getting, and those minutes weren't going to change. So his final regular season numbers looked exactly like that reality. 11.8 points, 3.4 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 22.6 minutes per game. Just 4 starts across 69 appearances. By normal rookie standards, those numbers are quiet. By Rookie of the Year standards, they're invisible. By every podcast and hot take judging him purely on counting stats, those numbers confirmed the early worry. The second pick was nothing more than a bench piece. But here's what everyone was sleeping on. 50.5% from the field, nearly 70% finishing at the rim on more than 4 attempts per game, a 2.76 assist-to-turnover ratio, the best mark of any rookie in the entire league, and the third most 3-point looks created for teammates on the whole roster. That is not a bench piece. That is a 19-year-old running an NBA second unit at a level most veterans never reach. The deeper you looked, the louder it got. When he was on the floor, the Spurs played a different brand of basketball. The 5-man lineup with him, the back-to-back Rookie of the Year, the franchise big, and the veteran wings, one of the most efficient units on the entire team. He steadied possessions, he made the right read. He kept the offense breathing when the starters hit the bench. That's not a rookie, that's a veteran trapped inside a 20-year-old's body. Coaches picked up on it, front offices quietly took notes. The right people were paying attention. And the team's record said everything. This was a franchise that missed the playoffs 6 straight years before he got there. A franchise still waiting for its generational big to fully arrive. And in one season with a first-year head coach and a rookie running the second unit, they went 62-20, claimed the 2 seed in the West, and became a real championship threat. So while everyone was busy putting crowns on rookies dropping 20 a night for lottery teams, something completely different was building in San Antonio. Something nobody was reporting, something nobody was tweeting about. He wasn't being built to win Rookie of the Year, he was being built for May. And when May came, he was locked, loaded, and aiming. The rest of the league had no idea what was coming. First round, a gentleman's sweep. He looked calm, not shaky, not rattled, not like a 20-year-old playing the biggest games of his life for the first time. Calm, like he'd been here before, like the stage was just another floor. Then came Minnesota, an all-NBA backcourt, a top-5 defense, Rudy Gobert standing like a mountain in the paint, Anthony Edwards flying around the wing like a human hurricane, the kind of series that snaps young players in two. Harper did not snap. Game 4, with the Spurs trailing on the road, he came off the bench and put up 24 points on near-perfect shooting, 8 for 11 from the field, 7 for 7 from the line, 3 steals, 7 rebounds. A 20-year-old rookie outscoring half the All-Stars sharing the same floor. Game 5, 12 points, 10 rebounds, a block, a steal, another double-double in just 25 minutes off the bench. The most minutes of any Spurs bench player across the entire series. 2 games, 2 double-doubles, 2 performances that would have gone viral all summer if they came from a player with a bigger brand name. And he kept showing up at the exact moments it mattered most. Fourth quarters, final minutes, the stretches where rookies usually vanish and veterans usually take over. He was right there making plays, hitting shots, reading the game 2 steps ahead of everyone else. When the lights got brighter, his game got bigger. When the moments got tighter, his decisions got sharper. You cannot teach that, you cannot simulate it, you cannot put it in a drill or diagram it on a clipboard. Either you have it or you don't. And Dylan Harper, he has it in spades. The kid from Franklin Lakes, the one who was never allowed to play small, is finally playing on the biggest stage of all. And he's just getting started.